Well, hello there, everyone. Bobby D here with Virtual Event Fundraising and Inspire Hearts. I'm so happy to have my new friend Jeff Porter with Handbid today. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing as good as I can,
Yeah,
better than I deserve, as some people say. So
yeah.
I'm excited to have you here and learn a bit more about Handbid. So why don't we just start right there? What makes Handbid different or sets you apart in the marketplace with all of these, virtual fundraising companies that are out there?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think one of the things that sets us apart is where we came from. So, my wife and I started a nonprofit back in 2004. My daughter has a genetic disorder, and we were looking for ways to, help people with the same disorder in our area. And so we started this foundation. And then when you have all these great ideas of what you want to go do, um, you got to raise money. And so the only thing we really knew how to do in the nonprofit space was throw a party. So we threw a gala, and that gala would grow, and over time it just got more complicated and bigger, and we had to move it out of our house and eventually downtown Denver to a venue. And um, as we were doing that, we just kept encountering more and more challenges with how to make the fundraising easier. Number one on our list was making the guest experience better, right? So um, we we had got to a point where we had about 350 people come into this event. It's a Kentucky Derby party. Families are coming, kids are coming. It's complicated. And so the guest experience was starting to wane a little bit, and we were looking for ways to improve it. We had a silent auction, paper bid sheets, live auction, appeals, betting on the horse race, games, raffles, you name it.
All the
And
things.
guests were coming in, all the things. Guests were coming in the door, buying ticket packages, and then, the end of the night, they're lining up to pay and get out of there.
Right.
And that line just got longer and longer. And finally, I just told my wife, I said, you know what, we're just going to automate this. And so we went looking around. This is in 2010. We went looking around
Okay.
for technology to do it, and there wasn't much out there. And the things that we did find, there were a couple companies out there doing this. It was really expensive.
Hmm.
And I think, gosh, if it's expensive for us, I can't imagine, even smaller charities than us and what they would have to pay in order to use stuff like this. And so we decided we want to make something that was user friendly, great guest experience, and at the same time affordable.
Hmm.
Which means that I got to build software that doesn't require I bring 8 people to run it for you.
Right.
And so we set off to do that ourselves. So why would we go build our own software? Well, I had just started a mobile software development company a few years before that, and we were building apps in the media industry. And so I really did feel like an app on a phone was going to be a great way to involve and engage a guest and get them, kind of not just bidding in your auction, but just connected, right?
Hmm.
And I think for us, the key at a fundraiser, whether they're at your event or they're not there, is that you can keep a connection with them.
Yeah.
And the problem with the web, I don't, we have a web interface as well, but the problem with it is that it's a connectionless interface, right? As soon as I load a web page, that connection tends to go away. So, we put a lot of investment into our app, and then we went out there and tried it the next year, doubled our auction revenue.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that everybody would do that. I think there's a lot of factors that are at play in whether or not this type of technology works at your event. One of those big factors is how your event runs. And
Right.
if your guests get easily disconnected from your auction and things going on at your event
Right.
because you've got things going on all over the place, technology helps with that. So
Right.
um, we saw it as a great success. We felt really strongly that we wanted to keep it affordable. We wanted to be real transparent, with our pricing and kind of how things work. And so to this day, that's still the case. Um, so we have native apps for iPhone and Android that your guests can download or your bidders remotely can download and bid from. We also have a web interface, so people who don't want to download an app do not have to. They can bid from the web.
Nice.
We also have a desktop platform, so that same web interface works on the desktop. The other thing that I think really sets us apart is we are a platform. Okay.
Okay.
When people sign up for Handbid, they get a Handbid account. What's nice about that is that they don't have to keep re-registering and they don't have to keep finding a charity's link every time a charity runs a new event or a new auction. You can go to events.handbid.com and you can see everything we're running.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
There's nothing hidden, right? It's kind of like Eventbrite. You can go there and find the auctions that are running. We do that on purpose. We want your auction to be found, right?
Wow.
And in this day and age, when more and more things are going online, I think that really helps.
Yeah. That adds to, yeah, that definitely adds to that exposure, which I mean is why we do events. It's exposure, it's education, it's allowing new people to come be a part of your organization. So I really love that.
Right.
I want to chat a bit about how you say getting people focused, and we had just talked about before we started this, when we are doing now these virtual events.
Yep.
Is keeping people focused within your event, whereas do we do a 2.5 hour like virtual gala and it's like people have to be online for that amount of time, or is it short and sweet, get in, get out? Like what is it that you recommend or that you're seeing as technology continues to evolve and what we're calling our new normal, and it's like, okay, so now what are we going to do? So let's chat up a little about that.
Sure. And that's a good question because I mean, a lot of times when you think about doing something new with technology, you think the place to start is to take what you did offline and do the exact same thing online. And it doesn't
Right.
really work that way. It doesn't work that way with bidding, right?
Nope.
It's, if you look at how these mobile bidding tools work, including ours or any of the other ones, it's not a bid sheet in front of you. You're not writing your name on your
Yep.
phone, right?
Yep.
And so it's, with the virtual event, it's the same, right? And so for us, we feel pretty strongly that if you think you're going to take your gala and you're going to have a stage and you're going to get folks dressed up in tuxedos and you're going to fly in an auctioneer and you're going to fly in a speaker and you're going to sit there in an empty room with cameras, and you can do that, right?
Yeah.
And you can go through your presentation and your entertainment and your video. I don't think that's going to work as well as you think online, right? People are extremely easily distracted. And as you know, I mean, it's hard to keep people's attention through a Netflix show, let alone, keeping their attention, in a Facebook live stream. I know exactly.
Right.
It's like I'll pick up this phone and my phone keeps buzzing on me, right? And so I'm going to keep doing this while you and I are talking. And that's what we're talking about. And so our belief is when we say you need to get in and get out, you need to communicate with your bidders. Hey, we're going to do this live thing. We're going to do a live auction. We're going to auction off 5 items. We're going to do it at 6 p.m. It's going to be on Facebook Live. Get there. And at 6 o'clock, you start it and you're done by 6:20, 6:25, 6:30, right? You thank people and you move on. You turn it into a 2.5-hour event. I've seen some videos doing that. I think people are going to tune out, unfortunately. As much as we love the charities that we support, I think you're going to get people to tune out.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, you look at the attention span. I mean, now Netflix shows are like 23 minutes. So it's like you have to get in. I mean, and the only reason that like motion pictures work and people will sit in a theater or even focus on their television for 120, 180 minutes is because they spent $200 million to capture your attention for about that time. So how do we create an experience that people can focus on that, but then also have an interface where it is easy to give, it's easy to be a part of that, and it's easy to interact within the fundraising.
And keep in mind, entertainment and shows are a little bit different. I mean, they're designed to tell a story, right? And so there's a progression that goes on in a classic story, and so you're more apt to kind of want to see a resolution of a conflict somewhere. That's not how most charity events work, right? You're not looking for the big resolution at the end. And so I think you guys you just need to make sure that when you're doing this, that it's very direct, right? We're here to, obviously respect your time, but at the same time, raise money for our organization. I'm not saying you can't show the video and that kind of stuff, but a video is a classic example, right? I mean, at my event, we do videos, and if the video guy sends it back to me and it's over 5 minutes long, it goes back for another edit, right? Not that I'd love to get up there and talk for 30 minutes or 40
nobody
minutes.
Wants it.
Nobody wants to hear it, unfortunately.
I like to say at events, whether it's live or virtual, no BS. We don't need any boring speeches. There's no need for that. It's like, bam, let's do it. Let's talk about the impact points. This is what we're here to do, and let's get right to it. So, okay. So let's talk a little bit about investment. Like you say, you want to be affordable for nonprofits that are out there. What is that investment kind of entry level, kind of stair steps, and then also most importantly, what's that ROI? Because nonprofits need to invest in this fundraising if they want to raise more money. So
for sure, right? And I think the big point to start with is not all mobile bidding solutions, and we do more than mobile bidding. We do peer-to-peer fundraising and other things. Not all of those solutions are created equal. Okay. And a lot of times what ends up happening is we're talking to a charity and they're comparing us to another provider, and they're like, well, you're more expensive than them. And so you do have to look at the bigger package. It cannot just be, what the price is on the website or what the price is that the sales rep is offering you. There is a total package that includes, how engaged are your guests going to be? What's the user interface and the user experience like? Because all of those types of things are going to drive bidding activity, and bidding activity drives revenue, right? So you need to make sure that you understand this. How secure is this platform, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot of them out there that aren't very secure, and you're asking your guests to put their personal information into it, right?
That's right.
And so you need to take that into account. What kind of support are you going to get? Not just on the event night, but throughout the setup process, right? What types of tools do they have? How easy is it to use? Go to some of these third-party review sites, read reviews about these companies and see. And so you start with that. Then the next thing is, to your point, is what is an ROI? And a lot of times what we run into is an organization looks at it and says, okay, this software costs $700. Okay. I don't have $700 in my budget, but there's another side to that, right? Which is the revenue lift that you can expect from software like ours or some of the other ones out there. So I think, the industry rule of thumb is 30% lift over what you would do on paper. Okay. We tend to see higher than that if you implement a lot of our best practices. And I'm not great at math, so I'll just say you have a $10,000 silent auction, right? And you're looking at a 30, and that was on paper, and you're looking at a 30 to 50% lift. Let's take the 30% lift at the low end, right? That means you're going to make $3,000 extra dollars. Okay. You're going to invest 700. And on average, you're gonna generate 3,000 from that. What we tend to see is you'll generate more than that, right? So that's where the ROI comes in. Is would you pay $700 to generate 3,000 extra? Now I know some people think, well, I don't know if I will. Well, so this is where, being around for 9 years, like we've been around for 9 years, I can tell you, I can't remember the last time people didn't make more money doing this online than they did on paper.
Yeah. And that's a good point. There was a group yesterday that I was on a webinar with talking about, it's like, well, how much is this? How much is this? I'm like, it kind of doesn't matter how much it is. It gives you the tool to truly fundraise, because you're not going to have an event. And if you don't do this, you're not going to raise any money. So let's find the tool that works best for you. Let's find that the personalities behind that tool that you really mesh really well with yours, and make that not only a, like you say, user experience or donor experience very positive, but then also a organizational experience, to be very positive as well too, because they're all stressed, they're all, feeling it, they're all like, oh my gosh. And then how do you, I always like to say, how do you kiss it? How do you keep it super simple?
Right. And we come from their world. My event has been postponed also, right? I still run my fundraiser, right, that we started back in 2005. I still run it. We launched Handbid in 2011 at that event, and that event is supposed to be on May 2nd. It's not, because the Kentucky Derby got moved to September 5th. So I'm experiencing the same thing that everybody else is experiencing, and trying to figure out, like, how do you do this? And we have a peer-to-peer component of Handbid, and we're still going to run that part online. And then we're just going to move our event. And, hopefully people come, because it's postponed. But if they can't make it, it's Labor Day weekend, they can still participate remotely. They're all, my guests are used to Handbid, as you can imagine. So they're used to that experience. And so all I have to say is that, I feel like we're kind of walking in a lot of your clients' shoes, right? We do this, right? That the system and the software was built from the perspective of somebody that needs to make money at a personal gala as well as an online fundraiser.
Nice. Excellent. Good. So now, if I'm a nonprofit, like many of those that are watching are, and you did have an event, on May 2nd, and it's like, oh, surprise, it's going to have to be pivoted. What would be a tip that you could give the nonprofits out there on how to raise money in that time, or this time that we're in, the new normal?
So good question. So if you've got a room full of auction items already, I don't think it's, unreasonable to put them up online on a software tool like this and go out there and raise money. If you haven't really started that process yet, it's probably a tough business environment for you to canvass the market asking for donations at this point in time. Consider a peer-to-peer fundraiser. consider doing some crowdfunding. Do what we call a non-auction event. Set up a donation page and do a text to give. People are wanting to help their charities and their organizations and their local businesses. We got plenty of food here in this house, and we still went and grabbed takeout the other night because it's from a restaurant that we love and wanted to support, and we wanted to go over there and support them. So people are wanting to do that, and I think you need to give them that opportunity. So those options are always there. I love peer-to-peer because the way we built our software is it's built around competition. So you can make it a little fun. It's got a leaderboard up there and who's kind of winning the race. And, so you can kind of have your biggest supporters go out there and create pages and raise money. And so I think those options are a good place to start. We talked to a client the other day, and she's like, I got a room full of auction items. And our event was supposed to be in early April. And you know what? We're just going to put them all online, and we're going to go out there and do our event. And, last weekend we did an event in Melbourne, Australia. And I talked to her the day before, and she was like, well, we got 400 items, and we were supposed to have a big, outdoor carnival, 5,000 people. It got canceled. And so they ran their auction online. They exceeded their goal.
Wow.
Online.
Wow, that's awesome.
Almost 3,000 bids on 450 items or something like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
They were really happy. I mean, it's different, right? I mean, everybody, even it's kind of bittersweet. This worked. I'm so happy the software helped us raise the money we needed to raise. But I missed the event part of it, right? And we all understand that, me as well. And I think the last thing that, folks have to understand as it relates to, doing a gala online and not being able to do one in person is you don't have to raise as much money as you typically need to gross at an event, right? Because some of your costs are gone now.
Totally.
And so if you tend to bring in $100,000 at your event, on average, most events, I would say, have about a 35 to 40% cost ratio, which means in a case like that, you might be only bringing home 60,000 or so. Make 60,000 your goal.
Yeah. And then, like you say, those, the overhead minimizes, and, you capture a broader appeal. You can get more people to the site instead you could have had at the event, and it just continues to grow through there. So awesome. Well, Jeff, I thank you so much for spending some time with us today and really talking about Handbid and really what sets you apart, and some great ideas here. So thank you so much.
Yep. Oh, you're absolutely welcome.
All right.
So hang in there. Tell your clients to hang in there.
Yeah, we got this together. So yes, you the nonprofits, remember what you do matters, and everything that you are, and be awesome within that, and continue to get out there and change the world for a better place, because we need you to do it. So I want to thank you all again for watching. Bobby D with Virtual Event Fundraising and Inspire Hearts. Happy fundraising, everyone. We'll see you later. All right, bye.